In this video, I want to discuss the possible tolerance that's allowed for the large bore in this plate. So I'm going to Control Tab back to the plate. And this bore greatly controls the position of where our hole will be drilled in our drill jig. So we need to take some time and make sure we examine this thoroughly and get a correct feature tolerance. First, let me go to the Evaluate tab and measure. The tolerance from this face to the center of the bore is critical. So I'm just going to switch this to center. So we have a 2 3/4 inch distance here. To understand why this is critical, let's go back to the assembly. The height of this controls the location of our indexing pin, which indexes into our holes to properly align the part. And once we calculate our tolerance, half of it should go to the distance from the center of the hole to this part edge, and the other half will be from the bottom of this face to the center of the dowel holes, and then the center of the dowel holes to here. We've already calculated this part tolerance as being 10 thou, meaning the jig has a total tolerance of 5 thou for locating this in this axis. So 2.5 thou can be used for the position from the center of our hole here to the top of this part. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to Control Tab back to my part. Where I've added the dimension, now I'm going to correct the tolerance. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to set my precision to 4 decimal places. And I'm going to switch this to a limit dimension. I'm going to enter the negative tolerance at 0 and the plus tolerance at my 2.5 thou. So I'll say OK, and I now have this positional tolerance within design parameters. Next, I'm just going to rotate the part around a bit. I have to consider the position from the center of one of these holes to the center of this hole in this direction. Again, that's a critical tolerance for this part. Again, we determined this tolerance earlier, and our allowable jig tolerance here is also 2.5 thou. So I'm going to come back, and once again I'm going to add a limit dimension, and I'll make the minus 0 and the plus the 2.5 thou. Make sure I'm showing to 4 decimal places, and I'll accept that. Now that I've determined these part tolerances, I'm going to rebuild and save this part, and I'll move back to my jig. And in the next video, we'll look at how we need to fasten this part to this plate.